Belief is not enough. That's right. You heard it from me. I'm saying it, and this will probably flaunt in the face of a shit ton of law of attraction manifestation videos that you're going to or have seen. Let's talk about it. Welcome. And I know this is a controversial topic, and if you've been banging your head against the wall wondering what you're doing wrong, this video is for you. And actually, I touched upon this a little bit in a previous video called Why Your Goals Aren't Manifesting. I really hope that I can stop using this word at some point, because I don't really align with it, but it's the popular word now, so I'm using it. And here's a video I was talking about. At least I hope here it is. I can work the YouTube setup proficiently enough that I can make it just pop up here. Okay, here. Check it out. My other video, why your goals are not manifesting. But let's go deeper. Let's talk about why belief isn't enough. And I'm going to tell you why. There's a couple of reasons. Actually, there's several reasons. But let's start with, I think, which is the most prevalent one. One that will probably be true for most people. If you've built the entire premise of your life on a certain foundation of beliefs, foundational beliefs, and I have another video on foundational beliefs. It's titled Do This or Fail at Manifesting. Sorry for the clickbaity title. That video touches upon foundational beliefs, but if you have built your entire life on a series of foundational beliefs that do not align deeply with your soul, so to speak, you can visualize till you're blue in the face, post pictures of cars and money all over your room, your bathroom, your home all day long, and you won't see any results, because most of us, we need the foundations ripped out from under us. We need the entire home torn down and rebuilt from the bottom up. We need the bricks, the foundational layer, the first level. We need it all rebuilt. And until you do so, you will see paltry, measly gains. I happen to be one of those crazy people that thinks we're living in a revolutionary time. I just don't think that the types of hopes and aspirations and life paths that applied to the people before us, and that includes the people before us who transmitted this type of spiritual information to us. That's my dishwasher. Sorry, you guys. I'm just filming when the inspiration hits, so bear with me. Hopefully it's not too loud. So I happen to be one of those crazy people that think that we are living in unprecedented times, and that what is required of us now, not what is required, that's not the right word. What we desire now is not the same as our ancestors and gurus and parents and the people who came before us who taught this kind of information. It's not the same. So it requires a deeper level of, I think, realignment for a lot of us. And for example, let's take a very basic example. Let's say the person who has been struggling with money for the longest time, they feel like they are doing everything right, and maybe they see some results, but not the kind of results that they're thinking about. Secretly, this person may harbor actually dreams of entrepreneurship, or a specific kind of entrepreneurship, or a business, or a dream of that type. But instead of heeding the inner call to align to that path, what they end up doing is kind of succumbing to social pressure and society expectations, and chasing down a certain career path that perhaps fulfills them on some level, but not super deeply. And then what happens to this person is that they first come into contact with this kind of information, and they hear that they can manifest anything they want, and their primitive, monkey, people-pleasing, society-pleasing oriented brain, what it first latches onto is some very superficial goals and results. For example, getting promoted, getting a better pay, better salary, and working their ways up through certain ranks, when actually what their soul is crying out for and craving is a completely different kind of life. So they come into contact with this material, they become frustrated, touch upon it on a superficial level, they do the things, they chant the chants, they post the pictures, act as if or whatever, and then they don't see the results, and then they become frustrated and they give up. And then I'm going to go on a whole nother level of crazy, dreamy craziness, and say that I don't think that this generation has very superficial goals. I think that we are extremely deep. By we, I'm speaking about millennials, which I am myself, Gen Z. I don't know about younger generations, but it seems like we are living in a time where people our age and younger have an extremely high level of self-awareness. See, I don't think our goals, our dreams and aspirations and goals are very superficial. I think they're quite deep. And by deep, I mean revolutionary. I mean like change making. And when we try to fit ourselves into these boxes of societal goals, dreams, aspirations, and expectations, we end up shortchanging ourselves, and we never end up seeing the kind of results that we want. Now, personally, I have a deep held belief that no matter how confused you are, how frustrated you are, or how little results you have had doing this kind of work, that somewhere deep inside of you, when you look at yourself, when you turn your eyes inward and peer back into your soul, and you ask yourself why you have not achieved the results that you want in your life, and more importantly, what do you truly want out of this life? I think there's a part of each of us that knows. We know why we haven't seen the kind of results that we want. Look at ourselves and be honest with ourselves for a bit, and really kind of cut the bullshit and the whining and complaining for a second. I think that most of us would find that if we look at ourselves and ask those questions, we would know instantly the insecurities and things that we need to confront to be put on to be realigned with the path of the things that we actually want. And that is my theory. If you don't have it, if you're not getting it, I venture to guess you know why. And it's probably because the things that you are chasing, you don't actually want. You want them as a kind of band-aid. You want them as a kind of easy, quick solution. You want them to please your parents. You want them as a plan B. See, I think this is why belief doesn't even really come into it that much. I mean, there's so much hammering about belief and acting as if, and when you believe, it will come. I was about to use the example of being a kid and good things coming to you and you not even really having to think about them very much. But then I realized perhaps a lot of people who are watching this video had shitty childhoods, and so that comparison is perhaps not so applicable to those people. But let's think about, everybody knows a person. Everybody knows I'm sorry to be so blunt, but a not very intelligent, not very even very industrious or savvy person who even thinks about their choices very much. That kind of a person for whom things just seem to happen, things just seem to coalesce and appear and work out for them, and they don't even seem to even think about it very much. We all, I think, know a person like that. I know several people like that, and they are some of the happiest people, and they're some of the people that would have been least likely for us to have pegged them as successful or to have done anything with their lives, and yet they end up stumbling into great situation after great situation. Are you telling me that this person is going through life believing that they have the things? No, they're going through life and they're enjoying their lives. They're living, they're just doing their thing. I think that's what happens when you're aligned with your soul's path. You don't have to think about it so darn much. You even don't really have to believe in it so darn much. When I find myself in a state of flow, I find myself not even really caring too much. Aligning to your authentic soul's path. I don't think there's any shortcut for it. And I think it's, especially if you're really far gone in a direction that your soul did not intend to go, this is really hard work. The work of realigning can be gut-wrenching. It involves difficult decisions. Another great topic for a video. I think that following a spiritual manifestation, law of attraction path means that you're always going to be going for the path that feels easiest and best. I said it. Yeah, I think sometimes it entails hard decisions. I think sometimes it entails putting ourselves in uncomfortable situations. And the difference between not being in alignment and being in uncomfortable growth situations, that's wisdom. Knowing the difference between those two situations. And guess what? That wisdom only comes with practice and putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, and possibly situations that are not in complete alignment with yourself. So if you're struggling and you're banging your head against the wall, wondering why things aren't coming for you, there you got it. There's my video. There's my long explanation. There could be a bunch of other reasons too, but I think this is the most common one. And I don't think that path is always going to be comfortable. I think it's going to be deeply uncomfortable at times, but I think it will lead to a path that will be more revolutionary than any path you could have possibly gone on if you just stayed the safe lane, if you just played with small goals. Again, the other two videos I mentioned are do this or fail at manifesting. Why your goals aren't manifesting, they should pop up here at the end of this video or down below. Bye.